Well, I've made a decision. I am not going to do the 2-year-olds today. I'm going to grade them with Amy on Sunday. I know she hates doing that, but that's the way it is. I think it's important. I think giving the horses a grade is important. It gives everybody an understanding of my feelings and gives us an opportunity to talk about the horses, talk about their strengths or weaknesses, what we'd like to see, how we'd like to achieve that, and we can do so very, very easily in the video tomorrow. So let's talk about the 3-year-olds. Arrowhead Hanover has been tremendous. It still bothers me, that Bunker Hill race. I just felt I was in a great spot. As it turned out, yeah, it's the name of the stake race in Massachusetts that he was in 2 weeks ago. And it just, I thought I had him in a great spot, and I ended up one position back from where I should have been. And it really changed the entire outcome of the race. He's coming in this week from the 2-hole or 3-hole, in with aged horses, but coming in sharp, staring down the Sire Stakes Division number 2 the week after. Him and Manhattan Money will be going to the Poconos, one in the Stallion Series, one in the Stallion Series, one in the Sire Stake Division. We'll see how they make out. What do we got here? So Arrowhead Hanover, a couple miles from 53, mile 54, one at 53, one at 54, but has been racing tremendous and continues to look good for the rest of 2025. Aunt Lily raced good in the Buckeye. I got a message from somebody saying they were a little disappointed. I gotta be honest. I understand that Aunt Lily raced very good last year, but towards the end of the year, it was pretty clear that she was a player in the Sire Stake Division and probably a decent to very good Buckeye filly. The filly that beat her the other night was a 6-5 favorite. Was a decent filly in her own right, and Aunt Lily is not known for her racing from off the pace. I thought she raced very, very well. So I'm going to chalk that up to expectations. You're coming in thinking that the 3 or 4 to 1 filly, and everybody wagering on that race, there was no sneaky money. Everybody wagering on that race got a good look at what was what and who was who. One was 6-5. The second choice was Aunt Lily. That's exactly how they finished. And I believe, everybody has to come to the realization that there's no easy money out there. The biggest problem Aunt Lily has is not expectations. It's not the filly that beat her the other day. It's not whether she's a Sire Stake or a Buckeye filly. It's getting her raced this summer. 5 wins and $100 and some thousand made. It's tough to get her raced. One of my partners, Randy, said, well, did you not enter in the series? I said, yeah, there was a series in Scioto. I believe the plan was to enter in that series. I texted Jason. I said, how come Aunt Lily didn't get in? He said, well, I can tell you the easy reason, because the class didn't go. I said, oh, Randy just said that the class won. He goes, no. The non-winners of 70 series win. The winners over 70 for 3 and 4-year-olds. 4-year-olds not more than 150. That class did not go. So now we're in a spot where it's tough to get Lily raced. I had begged Northfield to rate similar classes, because the reality of the situation is we have to be able to race our horses. When the stakes are a month apart, got to be a place to race your horses. What's the point of having them otherwise? And Jason, he was a little angry too. He said, I'll tell you what, if she was mine, I'd just stuff her in the condition claimer, and if you wanted her for 50 or 60, whatever it is, go ahead. I said, well, glad you don't know. But he's not far off. I can tell you that right now. Blue Ventura has grown on me. We've come to an agreement. I don't rough you up, and you don't race bad. That's the deal. And as long as we play by the rules, he's happy and I'm happy. A good mile from him the other night, and quite frankly, he's only thrown in 2 bad miles. One, I got roughed up getting the quarter pole, and I don't think he was on his game that night too, because he was extra poor. And then the other night, first over early on, can't do that. He won't race good like that. That is not in the agreement we signed. You just can't be first over early into one of the other favorites. It's just not going to end well for you. And almost every single other race he's raced well, and a great mile again. Dug in to win the other night. Could have been an easy third, but he was a tougher first, and I thought the horse raced well. Now, having said that, one more win gets him extricated from Northfield Park. I think at that point, originally I was concerned, think I would better sell him, put him up for sale. I think he can do the 10 condition claimer at Scioto, quite frankly. It can pace 52, and I don't think that I don't follow it close enough now. It doesn't matter anyway. Scioto's a speedway. They might go 48. $7,500 climber went 49 2 weeks ago. You believe that? A low-end climber went sub 150 in Scioto a couple weeks ago. But, that's just indicative of the track. I don't really care. The time doesn't matter. I can see the horses we're racing against. He will be competitive. And if he gets down there, he'll be competitive in that 10 condition climber, I believe, anyway. And they still have the numbers of 12 condition climber, I believe, at the Meadows. The tag is a little bit less than we like. So if those were two options, if those are only two options right now, it may make more sense to actually put him up for sale than put him in at the Meadows, price him. Now he's stamped, he's priced. I think he's worth more than that condition climber. So if he can't do it, the one in Scioto, then at that point we'll likely explore free agency, but not right now. We still have a win or two, a win for sure at Northfield Park, and then we'll have to worry about that. I don't mind the horse right now for sure. Captain Incredible, man, it's hard to believe a horse that young. And this was funny. I said in a video the other day that Dave Polona quoted me. It said, he's just got that freak speed. He said it's hard to believe he just carries it so long and so effortlessly. And he does. If we can manage him in such a way that he stays at or around 100% soundness-wise for the season, he could be a scary, scary good horse. I don't know that I've ever... I'm sure I have. I can't think of a horse we've had or I've driven or been around that has had that much just raw talent. And I don't mean raw talent, but he's crazy. You gotta manage him. He is the smartest horse. For a young horse to leave and win on the front end at 52, usually you'd think they'd be sharp at the gate the next week. It's almost like he looked left and said, go ahead. He just fell off the gate, got away 6, followed David Tenley. When I moved him, it was all business. From there to the wire. And I'm not so sure that he was actually not pacing more at the wire with the earplugs in and the bit in his mouth than he was in any other part of the mile. He's just a very, very, very nice horse. Chicago Hall raced great again. I told Dominic, I said, listen, the reality is I don't think that James has enough, what is this thing doing? Has enough respect for Chicago Hall. I don't think that James holds him in high enough regard. And that's just personal preference, right? That isn't, James should know better, James should do this, James should do that. No, I just don't think that James believes Chicago Hall is as good as I believe Chicago Hall is. Chicago Hall is not a sprinter by any stretch, but he's a good horse. And if I'm going to be completely honest, I think he races better for Jody. And that may have something to do with exactly what I was just talking about. Not putting him in a position to do well because maybe you don't think he's good enough may end up being the difference, the only difference. And that's just human nature. That's not me. I'm not taking a shot at James in this regard. I will lots, but not in this regard. I just think that the horse is racing really good now, and I think that Jody gets along with him. So I am the one that advocates and will always advocate for my brother driving the horses first one. He's the best driver in Canada by far right now, just on numbers, purse money, and wins in every stat that is tracked. But with this particular horse, I think Jody's a better fit. So for that reason, and that reason alone, Jody is going to be listed on Chicago Hall. Foxy Seaside raced good. Somebody said to me 2 or 3 emails the other day, where's Foxy at? Well, she didn't get in Saturday. They asked to use her in a non-worth of 6,500 to, thankfully, Jason abruptly declined. That's the class above Gorgeous Package where she was racing. And it's not that Gorgeous Package raced so much better than Foxy Seaside. I think she's a better horse than Foxy Seaside, but it doesn't really matter if she doesn't show it on the track. Now, she get interfered with the other night, whatever, but, I used her pretty hard to the quarter pole. I think pound for pound, a little tiny bit better, but both are very good fillies. I said to somebody, well, we'll put her in the numbers of 2 before condition claimer. She goes for like 52,000. Oh my God, you can't put her in a claimer. Did you catch the part where I said the tag is 52,000? Because I can tell you right now, if I put Foxy Seaside on gate right now, she does not bring 52,000. That's not taking a shot at her. That's just saying that is the biggest asset that we have at Northfield Park. Those condition claimers, numbers of 1, 2, 3, all the way up to 7, both on the pace and the trot. Blue Ventura, and a host of horses that we've raced through those classes over the last 2-3 years. Those might be the best classes in horse racing because the claiming tag is so much. It just makes it very, very hard to jump in and grab the horses. So Foxy Seaside's next race is going to be in one of those condition claimers. Freedom Hill is in another one. Condition claimer. She can win there also. $50-some thousand for Freedom Hill is a deal. And I don't mean a buyer's deal. I mean, you have a deal. We will put her in there. She's going to race in the numbers of 4 condition claimer too, where she's probably going to be picked to win on Tuesday or Wednesday, whatever day she's in. Nice filly. But again, it just makes it so easy to race them in that class. Gaslight Hall. Showed a little bit of mucus just to trace some blood the other day. But more importantly, if you watch the videos, and Dominic and James had a long conversation about this horse. His hobbles just looked tight the other day. Yet, when James made a break with him that night, just looked like he rolled off. He did something stupid, come back trotting. He was fine. 26-1 at the end of it. Looked great. But since then, his hobbles have looked tight. Dom said, well, nothing has changed. Not the bike, not the hobbles, not the harness, not the bridle, nothing. I said, well, there's only one reason that could happen. Dominic actually said it. He said he's getting sounder. You are correct. So, let the hobbles out. So we got to let his hobbles out. So we have to readjust where we were his hobbles because he's getting sounder. I would suspect and I would wager that those tight hobbles probably played a role in him getting tired. And when the horse gets really tired, they bleed sometimes. Same as you would or I would at the end of a long distance race, although I wouldn't because I would never be in one. So I think that Gaslight Hall, you're going to see a much better race out of him. He's actually going to Mohawk to train this morning. I don't believe he needs to be on Lasix, but we're not taking any chances with the bleeding. So we're going to train him on Lasix. You're more than welcome to. 4 days out, almost 5 days out right now. The withdrawal time is fine. Medically, we're cleared. So Gaslight Hall is going to train this morning on Lasix. James is going to go with him. Hopefully, let his hobbles out and see how he feels, and then we will go from there with Gaslight Hall. Gorgeous package, running in a little bit more. I stung her hard to the quarter. I went to come out. Horse on the front ran out a bit. We hooked wheels. Ended up an okay 5th. She was probably going to be 3rd or 4th in the race the other day. It was a little bit much to the quarter pole. I was just trying to keep. I thought in my head, if I could get up there 27-1, get Danny in the 3-hole, put the brakes on a little bit, go 27-1, 57, 56-4. I think she wins in 54 apiece. But instead, I got up there 26-2 because I could hear Danny coming. At that point, it's too late. It didn't matter. It was pretty clear. It didn't matter how fast I went. I was not getting Danny in the 3-hole. And as it turns out, there wasn't one there anyway. And what I ended up doing was kind of digging my own grave a little bit to the quarter pole. Now, as it turns out, the way she was running in, I think 3rd would have been the best she finished anyway, but that's certainly better than the 5th she did. Grand Slam Dio, I was a little miffed the other day that they scratched her and the other filly out of that race. The race secretary made a mistake and made it non-winners 1 for Colts and Geldings. Well, just take the Colts and Geldings off. Just call it non-winners 1. but he forgot to remove the colts and geldings from the program. So I'm sure he could have went to the judges and said, I screwed up and forgot to take off colts and geldings. It's just a straight mate. I don't know why anybody would care. Instead, they scratched 2 horses out of the race. Ours, who was probably going to be 6-5, and another filly. Now, I'm not going to, I'm not going to complain about it and say, oh, they did it because of this or that. I'm not going to do that. There's no conspiracy here. At the end of the day, though, I think there was a better fix for the racetrack itself. I'm sure management would much rather go the 9-horse field than a 7-horse field. That's just me. Jimboree trained yesterday. Jason said she trained good. She's coming in a little short on Wednesday. There's one horse in there that shows like 54, 55, something like that, winning this year in a 5/8. So it's not going to be a cakewalk for sure. Not that I thought it was going to be. Manhattan Money raced good last night. 55-3 the week before for post 8. 56 flat last night. A little chilly last night, but I needed to get away in the 2-hole. I just couldn't outleave the 4, and he ended up walking in front of me. Never Lose Felix coming off a break racing on Tuesday, I believe. Yes, he is racing on Tuesday because she's graduating Tuesday afternoon, late afternoon, into the early evening. And I'm hoping to get supper over with and make my way back over to race Felix. That will be the plan. We got here Manhattan Money. Yeah, you just keep. So what you need to do is go on your Bluetooth settings. Oh, it's shocking. I think there's an Apple charger in here somewhere. If you look, might be one on the floor back there. Melisandre raced good first start on Lasix the other day and stuck in a monsoon in the post parade, delayed the race 25 minutes. So I thought she looked very professional doing her work. Memento Mori's in Monday. I talked to Mark a little bit about him last night. There is a pretty good horse in there in that race on Monday. Also, that also made a lot of money, more money than Mori last year. So you got to plug it into that outlet there. You see? What's the other side? I can't use it right now. No, there's not one of those back there. Oh, yes, there is. There's one of those in this car. No, there's one of these adapters back there in this car. So, Memento Mori, I just told Mark, listen, just feel it out. It's not the Breeders' Crown yet. It's a long season. I'm super protective of this horse. Our goal, our number one job is to keep him comfortable, stress-free, so he can put some weight on throughout the summer. And that's where we're at right now with Memento Mori. I'd like to see him race good, but we'll see. Oh, he'll know I was right. Tied up a little bit. Her liver was a little high also. Jason has a pretty good handle on that. We'll have her back in to go this week. Resolve Indeed racing in the grassroots. 8-1 morning line. I think it's fair. But coming off a win, as old Big Fred always said, never bet against a horse, took a new lifetime marker in his last start. I remember that from when I was much younger. And more times than not, he's right. So she's coming in razor sharp, feeling good. Let's see how she races. Rose Run AJ, very disappointed with this horse's output. I think as I drive down the road right now, for all my partners on AJ, I'm leaning towards sending him to Maine. There's a series, just a small series down there, but more importantly, he is the type of horse that has to be the big fish in the small pond. He's a coward, is what he is. And fast horse, listen, there's nothing wrong with that. We've talked about these types of horses. In fact, there's more of these horses in the industry than there is otherwise. He's got tons of speed, but it will be at his discretion to use it. A little bit like Blue Ventura, but Blue Ventura is actually a bigger, stronger, faster horse. But the mindset, very, very similar. Rose Run Alexandra, she's in a good spot tonight. She's racing tonight at Northfield Park. Where are we at here? Woodmere Betcha. Is she the last one? She is, yeah. Woodmere Betcha is having a tremendous year. She doesn't probably get enough press, ink, so to speak, from us. Undefeated in 2025. Has only ever lost twice in her life. Very convincing mile of 55 in Truro last week and picked for second. I was wondering, she's 3-1, but picked for second in Summerside tonight or tomorrow. She goes for $21,000. Big PEI Colt Stakes. A big race down there for our girl Woodmere Betcha. So those are all your 3-year-olds, I believe. And just looking quickly, it is. Those are all your 3-year-olds. We're gonna come back. I might even do a top 10 list. I'm just so proud of the way the babies look this week. I think I might do a top 10 list for you. Top 10 list as of right now. And now that we're getting close to June, this would be, I'm going to make it a top 10, my top 10 expectations. So it doesn't have to be this week. Just who I believe our 10 best horses are right now in the stable as far as 2-year-olds are concerned. I'm going to do that list. We'll come back and give you that list. Tomorrow, Amy and I are going to talk about all the 2-year-olds, grade them all. Then I'm going to do the opening with Amy also and get all these videos into you guys. But as of right now, pretty happy with the sophomores, the racehorses. Really, really excited about the babies and the coming summer ahead.